Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I am Aleph0 and what you are watching right now is the final working version of my app to shiny hunt automatically in the games of Pokémon FireRed and LeafGreen for the Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2. In this video, I'm going to explain how to use this app and what do you need for the app to work properly. So the first thing that you need is a game capture card, and it has to actually be a capture card because the app will not work properly with a webcam pointing to the screen of the game. It has to be a capture card because the app needs the full resolution of the game to work properly. In my case, I use an Elgato capture card, but a Ugreen capture card or any other capture card will do. The important thing is that the capture card doesn't have a lot of delay between the inputs in the game and the image that it's showing on our screens. As long as the delay is not too high, any capture card will do. I made the program to work with almost any resolution of the game and any size for the video feedback. The other important thing is that the capture card have to be exactly in your main monitor for this application to work. If the capture card is not on your main monitor, the app will not function properly. The second thing you need is a Switch controller or SwiCC for short. You can use the older red version of the SwiCC or the new one, the green version, which is actually called a 2-week. I'm going to leave in the description of this video a few links so you can check the SwiCC to purchase one from the creator, or if you want, you can also build one by yourselves using two Raspberry Pi Arduinos. I will also leave in the description of this video another video with a tutorial on how to connect the Arduinos and how to install the software for the SwiCC. Okay, now let's start with the tutorial on how to use this program. My program will be on the Google Drive link in the description of this video, and I include here two programs to use this program. These are the two apps that you are watching right here. The first app is to set up everything so the program can work in your computer. So the first program is quite easy to understand. It only has two buttons. The first one is just to detect the color of your actual game, because here the colors in the game can differ depending on the settings that you have for your specific Nintendo Switch. So to begin with, we are going to click this button and we are going to hover here the mouse over the area of this purple color for the main screen on the game, where we select our game to continue playing. So once we are hovering over this purple color, we are just going to press the Control key on our keyboard, and the color is going to record in this section. The second color in my application is just as a reference, so you can see the color that is expected by the program. But the actual color of your game is the one you are watching here on the left. After that, you are going to click this button to detect the actual screen of your capture card. And for this, it's very important that your capture card is visible for the program to detect it properly. So now we click this button and the program is going to show you the detected region of the game. So as you can see here, the screen that I get is somewhat in the same position where I actually have my capture card. So if this is done properly, you should get a result like this. After that, you can save the settings using this button, and it's going to create a JSON file with the information recorded by this program. If your image doesn't look like the image here, it's because you have to adjust the settings. Maybe you can change the tolerance, or maybe it's because your capture card is not visible or you are not using your main screen for your capture card. Once again, if you have multiple monitors, you have to have your capture card in your main monitor. So once everything is done here, we can close this program and we can open here the second program that is actually the one that it's going to play the game. So just to show you how the program works from the start, I'm going to delete this file and I'm going to open this program so I begin from a fresh start. Another important thing is that you cannot open both programs at the same time because they both want to write here on this file. So you should only open one program at a time. So now let's open the second program. So the first window of this program is just so you can select the bot that we are going to use. I'm going to be updating this program in the future. In the meantime, it only works for the starters. So we click here to initialize that specific bot. And you're going to find out this user interface. So here we have to connect our SwiCC, and we are going to write here the COM of the SwiCC. You can choose the COM from the list here, but it has to be the correct COM. If you want to know the correct COM of your SwiCC, you can visit the GLAMS page that I left in the description of this video. So once the SwiCC is connected properly, if the COM is correct and it's correctly connected between our computer and the Nintendo Switch as a controller, which by the way, here a quick note. For the SwiCC to work, we need to go here to settings and change the option of controller in our Nintendo Switch to allow Pro Controller wired communication because the SwiCC acts as a wired controller. So after that, we can try to connect here the COM, and if everything is set up correctly, you are going to see this message. In my case, I have the newer version, the 2-week, but if you have the older version, it's going to display here the name SwiCC. So after we check that that one connects correctly, we are going to disconnect the COM momentarily because we need to record a few states of our game screen. So we need to record these 6 states so my program can identify correctly the pixels on your screen. So the first moment is the main screen of the game, here where you see the title of the Pokémon game. So once you are in this specific screen, you are going to click the first button and it's going to show you the color that it recorded. Once again, the color on the left is the color that it detects from your game and the color on the right is the expected color. If you are not in the correct screen, let's say for example that I am here and I click this button, you're going to see that the color is very different to the result that the program expects. So once again, the first state where you have to record the color is here in the main screen of the game. So we record here the green color. The orange color corresponds to the other version of the game of Pokémon FireRed. So the next section where we have to record the color, it's here on this part where the game is showing you a preview of what you did before. So when you are here on this screen, you are going to press the second button. So once again, you can see the color that you recorded and the expected color. The next part is at the moment where you get the starter and the game asks you to pick up a nickname for the Pokemon. So specifically in this part, this specific part. And be careful because here, for this program to work properly, you have to have this pointer here in the option of yes. So in this case, I have the button correctly. So now I'm going to click the button, the third button here in the program. So once again, it's recording this color. And it's very important that is this specific state of the game. After you pick up the starter, it can be any starter, it doesn't matter which one, but you have to be here in the state where it is asking you to put a nickname on your Pokemon, and before actually clicking yes or no. And remember that the option has to be selecting yes. Now that we recorded here this specific state, the next one is opening your start menu. So here we are going to wait a little. Now we open the menu, and sometimes you are going to have this pointer here in the option of save if you just saved the game recently before using the program, and that's going to be a very typical error for this program, because now if you click the next button, you're going to see that the recorder color is going to be white, but it's expecting a gray color. So here the thing is that this pointer has to be specifically in the first position here of the menu options. So once we are in this specific state with the pointer in the first option, now we are going to click the start menu button, and now it's going to record the color properly. The next state is going to be in the screen of summary of your Pokemon. So you can click here the summary of any Pokemon, though right now we only have the one. And once again, the pointer has to be in the first position. So in the first option here of summary. So now we click here, this part, and now we can go to the last state, which is now the info stats menu of your Pokemon. So now in this final screen, we are going to click this last button, and we are finally done with the setup. If you did everything properly, the program is going to work correctly. So the last thing we have to do here is soft reset the game and make sure that our game is saved in front of the Pokemon that we want. So in this case, I am going to soft reset for a squirrel. So I'm going to save in this specific position in front of the Pokemon and facing up. So your character has to be actually facing to the Pokeball, because otherwise the program is not going to move your character. So here, the next thing that we are going to do is to select the Pokemon that we saved on, which in this case is Squirrel. And I added here also an option to have randomized inputs in the game, so we don't have any troubles with the RNG clones. So I suggest putting this value between 1 and 5. Now we have everything ready. Once again, we are going to soft reset the game. We are going to disconnect our controller, the actual controller that we were using to move the character. And now that the controller is disconnected, we can now connect the COM controller, which is the SwiCC. So once again, we connect here the COM. And if you want to check that the controller is working properly, you can use the buttons that I leave here in this section. For example, this one in the middle is the home button, so you can see that it acts as the controller of our game. So you can move your character with these buttons, though I don't recommend doing that. But in this case, all that we have left is selecting here the button of Start Shiny Hunt. If we did everything properly, the program is going to start shiny hunting the Pokemon like this. So as you can see, the program is working properly. And finally, to help you here understand how the program works, I leave here a few blue icons with instructions on how to set up here the bot. For example, these first few blue buttons show you an image of the game state where you have to be for the program to record the correct colors. So you can click these buttons as a reference. And also you can see instructions here as how do you have to do the setup for the other specific situations. In the case of this one is only a note that is mentioning you that this is just for the randomized inputs. Okay, so that's all for my part. Thank you very much if you reach the end of this video, and I am going to be updating this application in the same link to update the bots to add support for the other Pokemons in the game. So the plan is to make a bot to shiny hunt every Pokemon in the game, except possibly the Rammer Pokemons because those are quite difficult. So besides that, I'm going to be updating this program to shiny hunt for every other Pokemon in the game. The next bot that I have planned is for the legendary encounters. So if you want to stay tuned for that, please subscribe to my channel and click the like button to support my channel. Okay, so once again, thank you very much for your time. And to end, I want to mention that I opened a Patreon, so you can also support me there if you want. Any support that I receive through Patreon, it's going to go directly to develop these applications faster. So thank you very much once again, and I'll see you in the next video.